fast. In Westwood, I'm Rasha Goel for LA This Week.
We should mention, since Rasha filed her report, the LADWP now says 18 to 20 million gallons of water were lost in the pipe burst. The leak was shut off after workers adjusted up to 11 water valves. Council members Paul Koretz and Herb Wesson are asking that the LADWP report back to council on steps it's taking to minimize other ruptures from taking place. And just a few weeks prior to the water main break, the LADWP had actually been celebrating a water conservation victory, a grand reopening of a golf course that's made water conservation a way of doing business. Anna Marcos reports.
An earth-friendly ribbon cutting as fans and city leaders at the Los Feliz Golf Course celebrate the facility's new recycled water system.
Here at the Los Feliz Golf Course, we're saving 5.5 million gallons of drinking water annually. That's enough to fill 8 Olympic-sized swimming pools, or that's enough drinking water for about 170 LA residents to use for an entire year.
We live in a Mediterranean desert zone, and there's only so much water. And this year, it's real few. There was just a few drops this morning, and I felt so good to feel the raindrops. Haven't felt them in such a long time. Water is gold.
The course was closed for months for the renovations, but now golf pros, both large and small, can get back down to business on the green. Some, of course, need lessons more than others.
You look at your target. Don't swing your hands first. Hips and your stomach.
The number 2 guy was right here.
Wow, you got a good swing there.
Yeah, you look at your ball and then you hit the club.
Other changes include an improved drainage system, turf, parking lot, and waiting area. And soon there will be an added restroom at the back of the golf course.
The hillsides along the backside of the river are now all, the irrigation's been removed and drought-tolerant planting put in. But the most important thing that's happened here is that with our partner, the Department of Water and Power, we brought in recycled water here.
Golf sometimes gets kind of a bad rep as a water user and kind of abusive to the environment. But here is going to show the environmental friendliness that golf can play in a community.
6 of the City of LA's 14 golf courses are now using recycled water, but expect more as city leaders continue the quest to conserve water for a thirsty LA. I'm Anna Marcos for LA This Week.
The Los Feliz Golf Course averages more than 40,000 rounds of golf per year. Another big metro construction project is behind us. The Century Crunch Bridge demolition project shut down roads near LAX for 57 hours from July 25th to the 28th. With nearly 93,000 motorists traveling through the Century Aviation intersection on a typical day, the public was strongly advised in advance to plan ahead in order to avoid congestion that could cause people to miss their flights. Here's a time lapse of the bridge demolition posted on Metro's website, which we've also shared on our Facebook page. And there it goes. At the 1 minute and 22 second mark of the 7-minute video, the bridge comes down. And at 3:17, you see all the construction vehicles removing the rubble. And by 6:16, you see the sunrise over the demolition site, with crews working all night into the morning, removing every last bit of the debris. Pretty incredible. Which takes us to This Week in Tweets. Metro Los Angeles kept Angelenos up to date all weekend long with updates and photos of the 3-day bridge demolition process. This photo was shared on July 26th with the caption, "Here's what the bridge looked like at 6 p.m. Friday night before the Century Crunch closure began." The next day, Metro posted this photo and wrote, "Goodbye, old railroad bridge, you served us well. But there's a new kid in town, Crenshaw, LAX line." And then for the after photo, the caption said, "And for those who just can't get enough, here's a pic that neatly sums it up, bridge to rubble." The Los Angeles airport also tweeted this happy tweet. Metro announces end to Century Crunch intersection of Century and Aviation Boulevards to reopen at 2 a.m., 4 hours ahead of schedule. Now that the demolition is done on Century Boulevard, 1 lane of traffic in each direction will be removed for 16 months to allow for the building of a new aerial light rail station connecting the Metro Green and Expo lines. And here's another connection that'll expand the scope of our region's public transit infrastructure. Anna Marcos reports on a plan that could connect 2 underserved valleys in LA County with a light rail system.
Commuters, residents, and city leaders all agree the Valley's Orange bus line has been a huge success with 33,000 riders a day. But for decades, this part of the valley in Valley Village has had no light rail due to state legislation that banned it. Now that the ban has been lifted, the valley's transportation landscape is about to change.
The steps that we're taking today are the first steps of beginning that very important conversation about how we build transit in the San Fernando Valley that works.
Authorities came out to show their support for a landmark vote by the Metro Board of Directors. The board has agreed to study the possibility of connecting two underserved valleys, the San Fernando and San Gabriel valleys, with a light rail system.
And it is much needed. Right now, out of 80 rail stations in LA, only 2 are in the valley, limiting transportation alternatives for residents.
But this plan would look at converting the valley's now popular orange bus line to light rail and extending it, building a San Fernando-San Gabriel Valley transit corridor that would connect Pasadena's Gold Line to the Bob Hope Airport and to the red and orange lines in North Hollywood, all by light rail.
I'm sure there will be people who will be concerned about light rail. Light rail is a much more intrusive use than a busway. There are going to be bridges all along the corridor, at least every mile, and sometimes probably every half mile. So there'll be some issues like that, but I think it's doable.
So you are a fan of public transportation?
Yes, I am, very much.
For now, the Orange Line is the only game in this part of town, but supporters are confident a new light rail here could take ridership levels to record highs and bring the valley into a new era of public transportation. I'm Anna Marcos for LA This Week.
A metro rail line connecting the two valleys could impact millions of commuters in LA County. A September Metro Board meeting should reveal new details about the plan. It's what every parent should already know, but police are making sure there's no doubt in anyone's mind that children's lives are put at risk when they are left alone in a car, especially during these sweltering summer months. Yana Kay takes us to a demonstration that shows just how quickly a car can heat up.
The sizzling temperatures in Los Angeles can be dangerous, even deadly. So Los Angeles police officers are educating parents about the dangers of leaving young ones inside hot cars.
Never leave a child alone in a car. Don't let your kids play in unattended vehicles. Teach them that a vehicle is not a play area.
In fact, just one day before this news conference in Panorama City, a 3-year-old boy died in nearby Sylmar after climbing into a hot car and becoming trapped. This marks the 3rd death in California and the 19th in the country so far this year. On a hot day like today, what many parents don't realize is how quickly temperatures can rise inside a locked car. Now take a look at this. Police officers put this thermometer inside this car about 10 minutes ago. It read 70 degrees. Now it's at 105. In fact, officers placed 2 thermometers inside 2 different cars, one with the windows cracked open and the other with the windows fully closed. Temperatures inside the car with the windows cracked open reached 112 degrees, while the car with the closed windows was only 3 degrees higher at 115. This experiment showed that it's never safe to leave your child inside a hot car.
This is a completely preventable injury, and it's tragic.
Police also say it makes no difference whether you park in the shade or in full sun. At 104 degrees, a child's organs begin to shut down, and at 107 degrees, the child can die.
Milk is something that we never leave in the car. If you're not going to leave this milk in your car, don't leave your child in the car.
A simple rule to live by that could save a life. I'm Yana Kay for LA This Week.
In 2013, 44 children died nationwide after being left inside hot cars. So far this year, 19 have died. Authorities come down on several local businesses accused of selling cigarettes to minors. As Gil Reyes reports, it's part of the city's heightened enforcement to help curb teen smoking.
Undercover cops bust 14 LA businesses, including PK's Donut and Ice Cream in Echo Park, for illegally selling cigarettes to minors. Their punishment, no cigarette sales or advertising for a month. And the city's crackdown is just beginning.
And that effort, as you'll hear in a moment, is particularly focused on areas where schools are located.
LA City Attorney Mike Feuer says each of the violating businesses sits within a half-mile from a school campus, many of them in low-income immigrant communities. That's alarming, since studies show chronic smoking and its health risks often begin in the teen years. Young people are known to illegally purchase cigarettes after class, sometimes with the help of an adult.
Well, we just give him like some extra money if he could do us the favor just to buy cigarettes, and I think that would be our strategy.
As city leaders, nothing we do is more important than protecting the health and welfare of our youth.
And they're taking action. City leaders plan to double the number of compliance checks at retailers to 700 per year, and to post online the names of businesses caught selling to minors.
On top of all this, the LA City Attorney's Office plans to step up parent education programs at 4 LA schools that authorities believe could be breeding grounds for teen smoking. Leyte Middle School in the Rampart area is considered to be one of those campuses. Parents here can expect invitations to more parent-teacher conferences with law enforcement officials present to help curb the smoking problem.
We need to do something. We need to take action. We need to cooperate and work as a team
to help snuff out the problem once and for all. Gil Reyes for LA This Week.
Only adults 18 and over are allowed to smoke in Los Angeles. Council members Mitch O'Farrell and Nuri Martinez are also calling for an update on the city's tobacco retailers permit ordinance. They want to know if more action is needed to further deter businesses from selling to minors. Imagine having to compete with full-sized buses for parking spaces in your neighborhood. That's what some residents in the Koreatown neighborhood say they do day in and day out, as casino buses are now a part of their everyday landscape. Yana Kay reports.
These large buses are parked on Olympic Boulevard and Catalina, just west of Vermont Avenue, waiting to pick up passengers to take them to local casinos and then back again hours later. On average, about 30 buses a day make the rounds. But local businesses and residents say this 7-day-a-week operation and their clients are trashing the neighborhood.
When their clients, while they are waiting for their buses, they drink, they eat, and they throw trash cans. They throw trashes on the street, and sometimes they urinate.
The Wilshire Center Koreatown Neighborhood Council claims it has spent $20,000 cleaning up the trash. Residents and business owners also complain that the buses take up prime parking spaces on the street. The Koreatown Neighborhood Council says that while these buses do have a right to park on public city streets, they do not have a right to conduct business. Meanwhile, bus tour operators say they provide a much-needed service to the elderly and the retired.
They're only fun. They're entertainment. They need that. If you kick off from this street, where can I go?
The bus driver also says that this bus operation is the only way some employees can make a living.
If we stop this run, our bus coordinators and our bus driver, we lost their job. Right now, the economy already slow.
Meanwhile, the neighborhood council said it is working with the city council to come up with a mutually acceptable solution.
They need to identify the location, have that location as their pickup point, and pay taxes to the city.
But until then, these casino buses will keep their doors open for business. I'm Yana Kay for LA This Week.
The Pico Union Neighborhood Council has joined the Koreatown Neighborhood Council in asking the LA City Council to take action in this matter. It could be the future field of dreams for young soccer players. The largest soccer facility in the city of LA is getting a facelift. Rasha Goel has more.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Rayford Johnson.
30 years after he lit the flame to open the 1984 Olympic Games in Los Angeles, track and field legend Rayford Johnson joined city leaders and fellow Olympians to announce the $10.5 million renovation of the Ferraro Field Soccer Complex in Griffith Park.
Opportunities like this provide a platform for young people to prepare for the next level.
The project will transform the site into a state-of-the-art soccer complex, which will be able to serve nearly 340,000 players each year.
26 acres. They're going to get artificial turf, synthetic turf, and it's going to be great.
All of these soccer fields, synthetic, save the over 10 million gallons of water a year. So just in terms of children being able to play soccer year-round, not have to wait in between the months where it's raining or where it's not raining.
$3.5 million has already been raised, including $1 million from the City of Los Angeles and $1 million from the LA 84 Foundation, an organization that supports local youth programs through surplus funds that were endowed from the 1984 Olympic Games.
So we need these fields. They will be how we function in our programs, how we offer more programs to our kids. And that's the real benefit.
The kickoff is a reminder of the benefits the 84 Games continue to bring to the city and the opportunities created for future generations. I'm Rasha Goel for LA This Week.
1984 Olympic medalists Greg Louganis, Edwin Moses, and Nelson Bales also joined the celebration. It took some wheeling and dealing, but now a mega entertainment corporation in downtown LA is ready to expand and bring in more jobs. Anna Marcos has more on the Unschutz Entertainment Group's latest business deal.
AEG's giant economic engine is about to get bigger, and this long vacant building will become its new extra office space. AEG, one of the world's largest concert touring and promotions companies with headquarters downtown, plans to lease and renovate the historic Desmond Building to move in some of its divisions. The plan will create about 500 new jobs for LA.
We plan to move here a number of our divisions and businesses, but most notably two in particular, AEG Live, which houses our live entertainment and music promotion business. We'll be moving over here from the west side, and Access Ticketing, which is a new venture we started in recent years.
The 82,000 square feet of space will include loft offices, storefronts, a cafe, and a glass pavilion on top of the building, which will add an extra floor.
It's another in the great revitalization we're seeing in downtown, bringing jobs, bringing economic opportunity. It's right along the proposed future streetcar route.
The 500 new jobs will bring the total to more than 1,000 AEG jobs for downtown LA and further put the City of Angels front and center as a mecca for arts, culture, sports, business, and entertainment. I'm Anna Marcos for LA This Week.
Larchmont Village is a quaint, pedestrian-friendly street filled with shops and restaurants, and now officials hope a new beautification project will help bring even more pedestrians to the area. Yana Kay reports.
Local residents and business owners are hoping this newly completed median located just north of Rosewood Avenue will help transform the north part of Larchmont Boulevard to make it more pedestrian-friendly.
I think it modulates congestion, really, creates an opportunity for pedestrians primarily, which is really what the experience that we're trying to promote in the Larchmont corridor.
City officials and community members gathered to dedicate a total of 3 medians to the community. Workers began construction last year just north of Larchmont Village in order to beautify and connect both ends of Larchmont Boulevard to become one unified area. Officials say the 3 medians will calm traffic, prevent illegal U-turns, increase pedestrian safety, and much more.
It improved the flow of vehicular traffic for Larchmont Village community and the adjacent residents and create a greener, cooler environment.
Now, this median is the biggest one of the 3. It is 260 feet long by 8 feet wide. It also features 8 trees and drought-tolerant plants.
Which is key in this era that we live in, but they make people slow down, make the neighborhood more special.
The second median is located at Clinton Street, while the first and smallest of the 3 is located on the corner of Melrose and Larchmont and features a monument welcoming visitors to the village. I'm Yana Kay for LA This Week.
An important decision favoring city workers when it comes to cutbacks on their pension benefits. A city park gets a makeover just in time for summer, and a courthouse that became an accidental skate spot is now reopened to skaters once again. These stories and more in City Beat. The city's attempt to save up to $4.9 billion in pension benefits over 30 years has lost a key decision. Los Angeles City Employee Relations Board sided with city workers who challenged the creation of a pension tier back in 2012 that raised the retirement age and cut back pension benefits for employees hired after July 1st, 2013. The board's decision to nullify the tier could affect the pension benefits of the nearly 300 to 400 employees hired since then, as well as those of future hires. The city attorney's office has the option to appeal the board's decision in Los Angeles Superior Court. Robert L. Burns Park recently reopened after undergoing major renovations. Now the popular summer picnic area has a new shade structure with a solid roof that covers the picnic area, replacing a deteriorated pergola-like structure. Approximately 3,700 square feet of the site's old concrete walkways and driveways have also been demolished and replaced with new walking paths. New picnic benches have been added to the park as well. Burns Park is a pocket park, but it is highly utilized by the community. The project is a collaboration between the Department of Recreation and Parks and the Department of Public Works Bureau of Engineering. Councilmember Mike Bonin, the LA Parks Foundation, and Nike SB, the brand's skateboarding division, helped reopen the iconic skate spot at the West LA Courthouse on Purdue Avenue recently. Skating at the West LA Courthouse, also known as the Santa Monica Courthouse, was stopped back in the early 2000s when the city added knobs around the building and seating area, preventing skaters from skating at the facility. Skating legends Eric Costin and Paul Rodriguez, who honed their skills at the courthouse, were both on hand for the reopening ceremony. The Metropolitan Transportation Board unanimously approved the first-of-its-kind business assistance program for small business owners currently struggling with the construction of the Crenshaw-LAX light rail line along Crenshaw Boulevard, set to be completed in 2019. Mayor Eric Garcetti says much-needed traffic improvements in South LA should not come at the expense of business owners. The Business Solutions Center will help provide the more than 100 businesses between 48th and 60th Streets services that could include financial planning advice, help with municipal permits and regulations, and legal assistance. The council member representing Silver Lake and surrounding areas recently hosted a gala celebrating his first year in office. Councilman Mitch O'Farrell says affordable housing and the LA River will continue to be top priorities moving forward. Gil Reyes reports.
Silver Lake resident Lucia Morano says she and her councilman don't always see eye to eye. For example, Morano opposes plans to turn this abandoned church into a boutique hotel. The councilman supports the idea. Still, Morano likes his policies enough to attend his anniversary party.
We don't always agree on everything, and that's okay. That's a healthy debate, but he's great, he's helpful, he's visionary.
And he's celebrating his first year in office as Silver Lake's councilman. Mitch O'Farrell spent much of the past year taking part in monthly community walks, receiving feedback from the community.
He's made it better, he's got good plans for it, and we're very happy that he's our councilman.
In year one, O'Farrell's district scored big with federal approval for $1 billion to restore parts of the LA River. He has also pushed for a permanent revenue stream to build more affordable housing. Desperately needed housing for seniors, veterans,
and just professionals entering the workforce, because Los Angeles is one of the most high-cost cities in the United States, but it's the only high-cost city that does not have a permanent revenue stream for affordable housing, and we're going to change that.
The councilman also received high praise for his summer lunch program, which provides healthy meals for kids at LA parks and rec centers.
Mitch is very good on delivering services to the city and has been really a champion of green spaces in parks, and we're already happy to see evolution in this direction.
While looking forward to more healthy conversations with the councilman. In Silver Lake, Gil Reyes for LA This Week.
The gala was held at Max Senate Studios in Silver Lake, and next week another councilman, Gil Cedillo, also looks back at his first year in office. In this week's list of things to do, mariachis, DJs, and Ecuadorian cuisine. The Skirball is your place for weekend family fun all summer long, where performances take place each weekend day featuring a different live act. On Saturday, August 9th at noon, Mariachi Tesoro de San Fernando will be performing at the Skirball Cultural Center at 2701 North Sepulveda Boulevard. The winner of the 2012 National Arts and Humanities Youth Program Award, Mariachi Tesoro de San Fernando, was created to pass on the mariachi tradition to the next generation of musicians. The performance is included with museum admission. Details can be found at skirball.org. And for more music fun, on Sunday, August 10th from 2 to 8 p.m., gather together with family and friends at Grand Park in the heart of downtown to experience beautiful soaring beats from LA's best DJs. DJs Benjamin Beck, John Charnas, Marquez Wyatt, and Eduardo Castillo will be spinning the tunes on this night. Grand Park is located at 200 North Grand Avenue. Go to grandparkla.org for details. Sunday, August 10th is also the day for the 16th annual Los Angeles Ecuadorian Food Festival and Parade from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. It takes place at Placita Overa downtown at Main Street and Cesar Chavez Avenue. At the festival, you'll enjoy a full menu of Ecuadorian dishes, including but not limited to roasted pig, pan-seared potato balls, tamales, plantains, ceviche, yucca bread, and goat stew. As for the parade, that steps off at 11 a.m. from Broadway and 7th Street. For details, go to lafoodfestivals.com. And that's a look at some upcoming things to do. That's going to do it for this edition. Thanks for joining us. I'm Ellen Chang. A reminder that you could catch us online at lacityview.org. You can also follow and like us on Facebook. We'll see you back here next week for more of LA This Week.
During California's next major earthquake, an epic battle will take place. Don't fight a brick. The brick will win. DareToPrepare.org.
Hi, I'm Shannon Lamert Park. You're watching LA City View, Channel 35, our city, our channel.
8th. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Blumenfield, Bono, Buscaino, Cedillo, Englander, Fuentes, Huizar, Carrasco, Corrin, Labange, Martinez, O'Farrell, Parks, Price, Wesson. 10 members present and a quorum, Mr. President.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Clerk. First order of business.
Approval of the minutes.
Okay, the minutes are before us. Ms. Martinez first, Mr. Corrett second. Those will be approved without objection. That'll be the order.
Mr. President, that brings us to commendatory resolutions for approval.
Commendatory resolutions. We'll have Mr. Fuentes will be the mover and Mr. Bonin will be the second.
Very good, sir. Before getting into today's agenda, there is a request from the Department of Building and Safety to continue item 1D, that's D as in David, to August 22nd.
Okay, that'll be the order without objection.
Very good, sir. That brings us to items 1 and 2. They're items noticed for public hearing.
Okay, do we have cards on any of those items?
Yes, sir. Cards on both.
We'll go ahead and hold those on the desk for cards. Next items, please.
Very good, sir. Items 3 through 6 are items for which public hearings have been held. A committee report for item 5 has been circulated for council's consideration.
Okay, we're going to go ahead and hold item 4 on the desk, called special by me. 3, 5, and 6. Do we have any members wishing to call 3, 5, or 6 special? Seeing none, we'll go ahead and open the roll on those remaining items, close the roll, and tabulate the vote.
11 ayes.
Those are approved. Next items.
Mr. President, unless reconsidered later with 12 members, item number 5 with the ordinance
Yes.
will go over for a second read.
We'll consider that once we have 12.
Very good, sir. That brings us to items 7 through 8. They're items they're items for which public hearings have not been held. 10 votes are required for consideration.
Okay, we'll go ahead and consider those. If we can open the roll for consideration on those 2 items, please. Close the roll and tabulate the vote.
11 ayes.
That'll be the order without objection. Okay, thank you. And
we do have cards on both items, sir.
Oh, we have cards on both items. We'll go ahead and hold those rather than reconsideration on those.
Mr. President, we do have 12 members now. If you'd like to reconsider item number 5.
Okay, we'll go ahead and open the roll for reconsideration on item 5. Close the roll and tabulate the vote.
12 ayes.
Okay, that ordinance is now before us, colleagues. We'll go ahead and open the roll. Seeing no speakers on the queue, close the roll and tabulate the vote.
12 ayes.
Okay. That passes as well. With that, I believe that takes us to item 4.
Mr. President, the report for that item has yet to be circulated. If we could hold it on the desk until such time as it is.
We'll go ahead and do that. We can then open up then to presentations. And is Mr. Labange, council member, you ready for your presentation? If you want to go first. CD4, followed by CD7, followed by CD14, followed by CD15.
Mr. President, members,
yes.
Please welcome again, for many, many visits, our great friend, Mayor Kawamura from Nagoya, Japan. And Mr. Buscaino, if you could join me, because Nagoya and Los Angeles are not only just sister cities, but sister ports. Nagoya is our oldest sister city. For those who may not know, President Eisenhower in 1956 created the Sister City program as People to People. And this is a very special relationship. Mr. Huizar and the great work that he does in the district, along with Mr. Price and his efforts. We're having a great Nisei Week parade this weekend, all the excitement that is here. And I wanted to ask Mr. Buscaino to say a few things on behalf of the great Port of Los Angeles.
Well, as I indicated in last night's Sister City Foundation event, and I want to thank Mr. Labange for leading the charge, continuing to lead the charge with our Sister City relationships. I indicated that the Port of Los Angeles, you'll find almost every international city in one location in the city of Los Angeles. That's at our port. Our port is the international gateway of cargo. We are proud of the fact that we have a great working relationship with the mayor and his constituents and his people in Japan, and we want to really focus and celebrate this relationship. Mr. Mayor, we welcome you on behalf of the Port of Los Angeles, on behalf of the City of Los Angeles, and we're so proud to continue this relationship we have with your city.
Okay.
I want to please welcome the mayor, members, please. The mayor of Nagoya.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Mr. Labonja, won't you sing a song together?
Okay. White doves say, only fools rush in.
Hey, Joe, get in there and help him out.
But I can't help falling in love with Nagoya. LA. All right, good job.
Okay, good job.
Okay. Say a few words.
Okay, a few words. Where is it? Good morning, and it is a pleasure to meet Mr. Harv J. Wilson Jr. and everyone gathered here. Today, my name is Takashi Kawamura, Mayor of Nagoya, one of Los Angeles' sister city in Japan. I'm glad to be here again following last year's visit as mayor. Allow me to express my sincerest appreciation for the warm welcome received every time we visit the Los Angeles City Council. Yes. Nagoya and Los Angeles began a sister city affiliation in 1959, and we have deepened our friendship over the half-century. Our two cities conduct a variety of exchange activities together, including a high school exchange program that has continued since the year after our sister city affiliation began. Recently, we have begun new exchanges, such as research on the educational system of Los Angeles and the basketball exchange program. And especially our education system, it's amazing, that great discovery. Last year in Nagoya, a junior high school student has passed away, and he wrote a will that if they are heaven or the another world, we watch what is happening in Nagoya. And last year I came here and I learned about your school counselors, talking about the school counselors. Yeah. And I realized, firstly, the school council in LA and Japan is quite different. The name is the same, but inside is quite different. In Los Angeles, it's a full-time regular employment, but in Japan, it's a part-time job. And I found that, and I began to come into the system, and I get $3 billion budget here for employing regular employees. And we can root for the student very much. Thank you for this school counselors in Los Angeles. And the school council in Los Angeles has opened the deep Japanese educational system. Thank you very much.
All right, Mr. Mayor.
Let's give him a round of applause, everybody. Thank you so much.
And you know, the important thing, and this summer we have the Grove. And Nagoya Day, and please join us.
At the Grove.
Okay, yes, the Grove, okay. I look forward to further strengthening our long-lasting friendship into future. I hope to continue to receive your support and cooperation. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and Mr. President.
Yes, Mr. Lamont
is the Speaker of the Assembly, Nagoya Assembly, for some remarks, brief remarks. Welcome.
Welcome.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hi. Good morning, Council President Harv Wilson, ladies and gentlemen. It's my pleasure to be here. I'm Harumi Ukai, and I'm the chairperson of the Nagoya City Assembly. I'm so pleased to meet you all. 私、河村市長と違いまして、日本語が得意でございますので、これ以下は日本語でご挨拶させていただきます。
Well, since I am more fluent in Japanese than Mr. Mayor, I would like to speak in Japanese from now on.
私たちは名古屋市とロサンゼルス市との姉妹都市提携55周年記念行事などに参加するため派遣されました名古屋市議会の公式代表団です。
We are here as the official delegation of the Nagoya City Assembly to attend various events commemorating the 55th anniversary of Los Angeles and Nagoya's sister city partnership.
ロサンゼルス市会の皆様におかれましては、私たち一行を温かくお迎えいただき、心より御礼申し上げます。そしてこの伝統ある議場でご挨拶をする機会を得られましたことを大変嬉しく光栄に存じております。
I would like to express my deepest gratitude to the members of the Los Angeles City Council for the warm welcome. Also, it is such a pleasure and honor to have the opportunity to speak at this historic City Council chamber.
公式代表団には私のほかに各会派を代表して4名の議員が参加しておりますので、まずご紹介させていただきたいと存じます。
Allow me to begin by introducing 4 members of the official delegation joining me today who represent different parties.
自民党団長岡本義弘議員でございます。
Assemblyman Mr. Yoshihiro Okamoto of the Liberal Democratic Party.
公明党団長福田誠二議員でございます。
Assemblyman Mr. Seiji Fukuta of the New Komeito.
民主党団長加藤和人議員でございます。
Assemblyman Mr. Kazuto Kato of the Democratic Party of Japan.
民政クラブ団長堀田大輝議員でございます。
Assemblyman Mr. Taiki Hotta of the Minsei Club.
1959年4月1日に名古屋市とロサンゼルス市はお互いにとって最初の姉妹都市になってから今年で55年になり、長きにわたり相互に教育、文化、経済などさまざまな分野で交流を重ねてまいりました。
On April 1st, 1959, Los Angeles and Nagoya both established the first sister city relationship for each of our cities. And this year marks the 55th year of long-lasting mutual understanding in various fields such as education, culture, and economics.
とりわけ姉妹都市提携を結んだ年の9月、名古屋市が多数の死者を出しました。日本の歴史に残る惨事である伊勢湾台風の被害に見舞われた直後、世界中のどの都市よりも早く多くの義援金や救援物資を届けていただいたのはこのロサンゼルス市であり、この友情は今も語り継がれております。
A notable incident occurred in September of 1959, the same year in which the Sister City Partnership was established. Nagoya was hit by a catastrophic storm called Ise-wan Typhoon, also known as Typhoon Vera, which became the deadliest in the history of Japan. Nagoya was devastated and suffered 4,764 deaths. But immediately after the disaster, before any other city in the world, Los Angeles was the first city to deliver relief funds and supplies to Nagoya. To this day, this story of friendship has been passed down from generation to generation.
実は私もその折、小学校の5年生でアメリカから届けていただいた救援物資をいただいた一人です。
I was a 5th grader at that time and was one of the recipients of the relief supplies from America.
学校の教室で一人一つのこれぐらいの大きさの箱をもらいまして、その中に入っていた鉛筆や消しゴムとともにこれくらいの大きさの、人形、手と足をこう曲げることができる人形を手に取り、とても嬉しかったことを覚えています。
In the classroom, each student was given a box this big, and I still remember how happy I was when I received supplies such as pencils and erasers, and also a doll about this size which had movable arms and legs.
その頃まだ見たこともない、会ったこともないアメリカ、そしてロサンゼルスの皆さんに思いを馳せて、あれから55年、友情を深めてまいりました。
At that time, I have never been to America or seen anybody from America, but I was thinking about LA and America. So it has been 55 years, and we have furthered and strengthened our friendship, and now I am here today.
今年55周年。友情を深めたロサンゼルス市と名古屋市の歴史にまた新たな1ページが加わりました。名古屋市議会としましても今後ますます両市の友好交流が深まり、未来に向かってより強い親善の絆で結ばれていくことを切に願うものであり、そのために私も名古屋市議会も精一杯努めてまいりたいと存じます。
So it has been over 50 years. And I believe that it is a new page for us to start. It is the sincere hope of the Nagoya City Assembly that the close relationship and bond that exists between the two cities will continue to strengthen and flourish in the years to come. We are prepared to do our best to make this happen.
ここにご列席の皆様におかれましても、両市の友好関係が一層深いものとなり、末永いものとなるよう、引き続きご支援を賜りますようお願い申し上げまして、私のご挨拶とさせていただきます。ありがとうございました。
I'd like to conclude my speech by thanking you all again, and we look forward to your continued support in encouraging and cultivating this long-lasting friendship between our two cities. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Great. Thank you very much. Let's give them another round of applause. Thank you.
Mr. President, they came a long way with this special gift to the city of Los Angeles, the 55th anniversary plate. We really want to thank you. And Mr. Wesson, the mayor believes the Speaker of the Nagoya Assembly is taller than the Speaker of the Los Angeles Assembly. So we want to send special regards to you. Let's hear it for the Mayor of Nagoya and the team from Nagoya. Okay, thank you. Okay, we go right here. All right, good job. Good job. And Mr. President, since we're on Nagoya, I want to call, if I could, my colleague, Mr. Huizar, for a very quick salute to another Nagoya delegation. 2 minutes.
Thank you very much, Mr. President.
A very quick salute, yes,
a very
please.
Quick salute. Mr. Labange. In any great city, you need, what's the number one issue that you need for a great city?
Water.
Yes. What's the second thing?
Relationships.
What's the third thing?
A good job.
What's the fourth thing?
A good family.
Okay, I was thinking public safety, but anyway, we're getting there. We need safety and everything else Councilmember Labange mentioned, but we also need great commerce. And both in Nagoya and Los Angeles, we have great commerce, and we have a group here called Nagoya Pure O2 Merchants Association that has been working with the Little Tokyo Business Association to improve relationships and to exchange information about how to continue to improve commerce in both cities. If I could ask a representative of the Nagoya Pure O2 to come up and accept this resolution on behalf of the City of Los Angeles and the Little Tokyo Business Association for the great relationship we have, the cultural exchanges, and the business exchanges that we have. Congratulations and thank you so much.
All right, let's give them a round of applause. Once again, thank you so much.
And I want to thank here locally Joan Kumamoto from the Little Tokyo Business Association and Alan Endo from the Little Tokyo Business Association. And on behalf of O2 is Mr. Akira Katsuda. Thank you very much, sir.
Great. Thank you very much. Congratulations. Thank you. Okay.
Thank you, Mr. President. Last, just standing for recognition, the students of Nagoya on exchange. Please give them LA Unified School and Nagoya. Give them a big hand, all these great students. Nagoya, Los Angeles, sister city.
Great, thank you very much. Okay, I believe while you guys are going in the back to take some photos, hello, Mr. Labange, you may want to stick around for this item. We're going to go ahead. I believe item 4 from committee this morning has now been circulated. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So with that, if you could, Mr. Clerk, please read item 4 into the record.
Item number 4, Public Safety Committee report relative to the appointment of Assistant Chief Ralph Terrazas as Fire Chief, Los Angeles Fire Department.
For this one, I'm going to stand. And I get the honor and privilege of asking Mr. Terrazas to please come to the center table, if you would. Shh. While you're making your way out of council chambers, it's a little bit of an echo chamber, not just a council chamber. So if we can keep staff voices and down a little bit. I know it's a lot of people walking out, so we'll give it a moment. Thank you. We had the honor, and I had the honor and the privilege as chairman of the Public Safety Committee to go through in your confirmation process and procedures this morning in our Public Safety Committee. But before that, I actually had the honor and the privilege, members, as I worked on the team with our mayor and it was a privilege and truly an honor, and not normal process and protocol. But he had asked me to sit in on all the candidate interviews, to look at, in fact, even before we wrote the criteria and the selection process, to meet with the folks that were going to be looking throughout the entire country, and left no stone unturned to find the best possible fire chief for the fire department, for the best fire department in the country to lead us. And I had that honor and I had that privilege to work on that team and look at incredible resumes, meet with some really special people that had all actually had the resume to lead this department. We are at a changing point right now with the Los Angeles Fire Department. We're not asking for a chief, as we do our firefighters, to walk into a burning building. The building's been burned down. The fire department has been decimated. We're asking for a leader to rebuild. This is a time of rebuilding, of restoring faith and confidence and morale. This is a time of investing within our department to the city in technology, in new hiring, in investing, in transparency, and making sure we can turn this department around. It truly remains the best fire department because they do more with less than any other agency in this country, bar none. We looked far, but we didn't have to look too far. We found a natural leader amongst the rubble, if you will. We found a natural leader who not only knows this department so well, but an innovator, a friend of the department, somebody who has demonstrated through his record of 31 years developing the professional standards division, partnering in metric-based management initiatives, something that's near and dear to my heart as the author of Firestat LA. Somebody who is an Emmy Award winner, literally has won an Emmy. And we said this morning he's about to take the next role for his next Emmy because it's going to take that type of leadership. With that, I present to you, colleagues, our chief appointee, Ralph Terrazas, for his opening statement. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Councilmember, for those kind words. Council members, I'm honored to be here today seeking City Council confirmation as your next fire chief. I believe my confirmation of me as an internal candidate is validation of your trust and confidence of the men and women of the LAFD. We will not let you down. I look forward to working with this council in meeting the organizational changes or challenges that lay ahead of us. To the men and women of the LAFD, be proud. You're members of a great fire department. We have a history and tradition of meeting all emergency challenges, and together we will meet the challenges currently facing our department. Every day I'm inspired by you, and I'm honored to serve you as your next fire chief. To the citizens of Los Angeles, rest easy. Your LAFD has been and will continue to always be there in your times of need. We will make you proud by dedicating our efforts on transforming your LAFD into a metric-driven, technologically sophisticated, community-focused organization that is reflective of the communities that we serve. Thank you, Councilman, for your kind words, and I look forward to confirmation.
Great, thank you very much. I'd like to now open it up to my colleagues. So those of you who submitted public comment cards, we've already satisfied public comment, just to let you know, in committee this morning. So we'll go ahead and note and file those. We'll open it up with Mr. Buscaino.
Thank you, Mr. President. And I, too, want to echo your words and thank the mayor for including you in the process. That's something that is rare around these walls. And it's great to see that collaboration between the mayor's office and the council. Let me stand, colleagues, and say how proud I am of this appointment, Chief Terrazas, who is a pride and joy of Wilmington, California, that a story that we can say that it is possible. You can be raised in the city and rise to the ranks of an incredible fire department that we're so proud of. I want to say that we thank you for your service, and what I've heard in committee leads me to believe that this is the right selection. The mayor got it right. The committee that made this decision and made this recommendation to Mayor Garcetti got it right. I want to hear from you. I know in committee just now we just heard your commitment and also the challenges of that the department faces. We talked about your 3 priorities. One thing what struck was your commitment to recruitment. This fire department needs to reflect who we are as a city, specifically through hiring more women. Tell us what you shared in committee about the recruitment efforts and bringing in youth and specifically women candidates to the fire department.
Councilmember, thank you for your kind words. Absolutely, the recruitment of females into LAFD is one of my major priorities. I have firsthand experience with being a captain in the female tutorial program in the mid-90s. Many of the female captains that are chiefs and captains today in the fire department are a product of that program. I want to bring that program back, and what the program does or did was target female athletes at the college level and bring them into our training center and expose them to the ladders and the hose and the breathing apparatus. And we mentored them in the written exam and the oral interview process, so eventually they were able to get hired by us. So that's going to be my focus in terms of directly dealing with recruiting more females. In terms of youth, I want to parallel the LAPD high school magnet program, which you know in San Pedro. We have one at San Pedro High School. I'm a product of Banning High School in Wilmington. We're rivals on the football field, but on this issue we're going to partner and have one at Banning as well as throughout the city. I think we need to mentor our youth. I think the best way to reflect the communities that we serve is to recruit from the communities that we serve. So that will be another priority of mine.
Thank you, Chief. I was also impressed by your frank and honest discussion about some of the controversial issues facing the department, including merging LAPD and LAFD CAD systems. You were clear on that. Talking about merging the LAPD and LAFD 911 call centers. And I want you to share with us your thoughts on the LA County's model of privatizing ambulances for hospital transport.
The LA County Fire Department is the second best fire department I'm aware of. It's right behind the LA City Fire Department. I have a difference of opinion. No disrespect to them. Number 2 is good, but number 1 is better. I do not agree with privatizing EMS. The private pursuit of that is not equitable. They'll want to provide services in the high-income areas and neglect the lower-income areas because there's no profit incentive. I believe our current system works. It gives us a surge capacity if we have that spontaneous large-scale event such as an earthquake. We have better control of it in terms of holding our people accountable. And we have revenue. We generate revenue from that service. If we were to privatize that, we would lose that revenue. So I am opposed to privatizing EMS.
Thanks for your honesty on that. And aside, colleagues, for being a great selection of the fire chief, Ralph Terrazas is a loving and an honorable father and husband. And I want to thank Dana for allowing you to serve your wife, allowing you to serve at this capacity, and also your kids. And I know they'll all be reunited here when we're all done with the mayor. So yes, congratulations, colleagues. I'm biased here. This is a resident of the great 15th District, born and raised in Wilmington, lives in San Pedro, and I respectfully ask for an aye vote. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Great. Thank you. Mr. Steele.
Mr. Terrazas, let me say congratulations and thank you. Thank you for your years of service, and thank you for what you will do for the city. You are setting a new example of public service, and you are now a new role model. And you and I know that there's young boys and girls at Banning and at Roosevelt and at Wilson and in the Valley at San Fernando and throughout this great city and this county who will now look to you and say, you know, I want to join the fire department because one day I can be the chief. So thank you for your years of service, and thank you for all that you're going to do for this city. God bless you. Godspeed.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Safety. Councilmember Labange.
Members and the public, the other night, I had an opportunity to fly by Fire Station 3 over on Fremont Street and First, and it was the last shift dinner that Chief Terrazas was in before he became fire chief. Very proud of you. A firefighter is in every neighborhood of our city. Over 105 fire stations plus,
right.
And they're in every neighborhood. And I just wanted to pledge my support to you as you pledge your support in transforming the fire department that already is there. It's just you got to make sure everything goes right. That's the whole thing. There's no you read the paper today that Dodgers beat the Angels. They beat the Angels. They won the series 3-1. You got to win every time, Chief.
Yes, sir.
And that's the difference. That all the firefighters in the community's got to win every time. I have one special request that Heavy Rescue 56 stays there in the heart of the city so it can serve the valley and all the equestrians in the valley, as well as respond to the airport in a quicker way. But that's your decision to make. But I wanted to say hi to the guys at 56s who I know watch Channel 35 regularly. So congratulations to your family and to those who behind. I can't do my job without the staff I have. I can't do my job, and the staff of the fire department is so important to the chief of the fire department because that's the quarterback who's in the huddle that calls the play that moves down the field to hopefully score for all people. So I want to thank everybody, especially the executive assistant to the fire chief for so many years. Congratulations, Ralph. Serve the city well as you will. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Appreciate your support.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Labange. Mr. Huizar.
Thank you. I just wanted to congratulate you, and I think we're very proud of this appointment. I've watched you in this department since I've gone as a council member here 7 years ago, and just been very impressed with your professionalism, your commitment, and your passion. And one thing I've also watched in my 7 years here in our budget cuts because of our need to make changes in the way we are allocating our resources here in the city. I sense that the fire department has gotten cut disproportionately overall in the last 7 years, and the department has done the best with what it has, and I want to commend the department for that. And in the budget deliberations and thinking and talking about how to allocate resources, I found these discussions with all the personnel from the fire department very helpful, but the most important thing about these discussions is that I saw the department filled with committed employees, committed men and women who really care about the safety about the city. And I took that away, and I know from in those discussions, I took that from those discussions, but now to see you there as well, it's a great combination. Congratulations. You and the men and women from the fire department have a very difficult job, and we want to thank you and commend you, and I think with your leadership, I don't think there's any place higher than one, but all we have to do is keep it there. Congratulations.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate your support. Thank you very much.
Seeing no other speakers on the queue, we'll go ahead and open the roll, colleagues. Close the roll. Tabulate the vote.
14 ayes.
Congratulations, Chief. We'll go ahead and send that item forthwith to the mayor for him to sign, and you are our new fire chief. Congratulations.
Joe, let me show you. Turn around. That's the picture they want right there. Get in there. This is it right here. Joe, get in. All right. Good job. Get in here, Felipe. Lazy bone. Good job, man. You did it.
Thank you, Tom.
I'm proud of you.
Thanks for coming by there.
Oh, you that was special.
Congratulations. Yes. It's going to be good. Job. That will be great.
Good.
Here we go. All right. Thank you, sir. Thanks for everything. I'm looking forward to working with you.
Absolutely. Let's get in here for the photo.
Here we go. All right.
This way here, Mike.
To Fire Chief Ralph Terrazas, give him another big hand. Thank you, all members. Item 1 is called Special for Cards. Good. Hold on, please. Thank you very much. Hold, Mr. Clerk. Item 1, put it on your desk, Mr. Englander. We're going to call him Mr. Fuentes right now for special.
Good morning, colleagues. If I could have everybody's attention, we have a very special presentation today. We're here to recognize a very, very special young lady, and I'm going to get in trouble with Mr. Labange because she actually is a resident of the 4th Council District. But let me tell you, colleagues, why Riley Gant is so incredible and special. Miss Gant, 4 years ago, visited Haddon Elementary School in my district in Pacoima. And during her visit at Haddon, she heard from many students who talked about how difficult it was for them to be able to accomplish basic things like coloring, let alone their homework. And 4 years ago, she understood that those supplies are incredibly important to the success of young people. And so at the very, very tender age of 10 years old, Riley started Rainbow Pack, a nonprofit organization that delivers backpacks filled with necessary homework supplies for students so that they could actually be successful in school. 10 years old, establishes a nonprofit called Rainbow Pack to make sure that students have what they need to be successful at school. Since that day, Riley has helped with her parents, Brad and Leanna, and Rainbow Pack is certified as a nonprofit, and they have distributed over 2,000 backpacks to Haddon Avenue Elementary. This year, I'm very lucky and very fortunate that she invited my office to participate to do 2 additional elementary schools. So not only are the schools at Haddon Elementary and Telfair Elementary, both in Pacoima, going to benefit, but Sharp Avenue Elementary in Council District 6, Ms. Martinez, is also going to have the benefit of having Rainbow Pack make these donations. And so I'm very, very honored to represent a tremendous council district in Los Angeles, but even more so to have the partnership of a tremendous individual, a remarkable young lady in Riley Gant, who is not just doing things in her community, but she's doing them for mine and across Los Angeles. Today, we're also joined with school board member Monica Ratliff, who is going to share some words as well to honor this remarkable young lady. Board member?
Thank you. Thank you. It is a pleasure to be here today. As a teacher for the last 10 years before getting on the school board, I can tell you firsthand how important these school supplies and these backpacks are to our children. The reality is that many of our families within LAUSD have to deal with rent, utilities, food, and basic supplies such as backpacks and pencils and paper are things that they really cannot afford. We often take for granted, I think, the fact that many of us can just zip down to Target or Office Depot and stock up on school supplies for our children and our students. But the reality is that many of our families can't. This makes such a difference to the self-esteem of the students when they are able to walk in on the first day of school with a backpack and school supplies. So what she has done has touched the lives of thousands of our children, and it is just remarkable what she's done. I hope that she will also inspire all of us to do what we can within our communities to help the children who are less fortunate and are unable to start the day with those things that we take for granted. Thank you so much, Riley.
Thank you, Board Member Ratliff. Now I'd like to ask Riley to say a few words on why it is that she's doing this and how this started. Riley? Why are you doing this?
Okay. Well, I first got introduced to Haddon on a school trip, and I was talking with some of the students at the table, and one of the little girls said that she wanted a box of just the basic skinny Crayola crayons, but her mom said she couldn't afford them. This was absolutely astonishing to me. This was something that I never had to deal with as a kid. I had more crayons than I could ever want, and to think that a kid didn't even have the supplies to do a color by numbers in kindergarten was really upsetting to me. I went home to my parents and we started thinking of ways to help. Originally, it started with just maybe a crayon collection drive at my school. Then we got in contact with the school social worker, Randall Edwards, and she told us that the problem was much bigger than just crayons. It was backpacks, pencils, any basic school supplies that you could think of. And so we started trying to think of ways that we could help. Our first goal was just to do one grade, the kindergarten grade at Haddon. We surpassed our goal and did first grade and the pre-K classes. The next year, we set a goal to the entire school. We did that. And the next year, we did 2 schools. We accomplished that. This year, our goal was to do a giant back-to-school event that would encompass 3 schools and would not only give out backpacks, but teach the parents about the importance of education, school, and attendance. And I just want to say thank you so much. This is such a great honor.
Give her a big round of applause, colleagues. I also want to report, and this is probably when I won't get in trouble for telling somebody's age, but Riley last Friday turned 14. So we want to wish her a special happy birthday, and we want to thank her and commend her on behalf of the City of Los Angeles, this great city council, on what it is to bring community together, and more importantly, to understand when other folks are in need, that neighbors, community members can go to their aid and help. And she's done that, and we're so proud of her. Mr. LaBonge, congratulations on having a tremendous family in your council district. And let's give her another round of applause.
Thank you very much.
And here's another certificate for your birthday. All right, so let's go to the back and we'll take some photos.
Thank you very much.
Here, follow me.
Mr. Buscaino with the 15th.
Wow, what an inspiring story, Riley. We're so proud of you. And only 14 years young. What's to come? Ladies and gentlemen, it's with great pleasure that I welcome 2 commanders from the USS Anchorage and USS Sprunitz. If I can have all of our Navy men and women of service come forward, please. And give them a warm Los Angeles City Council welcome. We are celebrating LA Navy Days at the Port of Los Angeles, and I was joined by some stakeholders on Tuesday afternoon, and as well as the Port of Los Angeles staff to welcome officially the USS Anchorage under the direction of Commander Joel Stewart. And just yesterday, we welcomed the USS Sprunitz under the direction of Commander Daniel Cobian, both here today in chambers. These gentlemen are both commanding officers in the U.S. Navy, each with nearly 30 years of service. And as I said, visiting the Port of Los Angeles for the week of Navy Days in L.A. Navy Days is dedicated to ensuring the education of citizens about the importance of sea power to the United States national security and the condition of our sea services through the arranging and executing of local military port visits in the Los Angeles area. Now, due to sequestration last year, we missed the LA Navy Days, but we're pleased to welcome them back this year. And through these port visits, Navy Days, LA also promotes the growth and education of the Navy League's Pacific Southwest region's 24 Navy League councils and their membership. And it's quite the sight. I encourage everyone to come visit us this weekend to see these 2 fresh new Navy ships right alongside the USS Iowa. Really clearly paints a picture of the history of the United States Navy, of celebrating the past, and also encouraging and also recognizing the present. I was also able to take a tour of the USS Anchorage on Tuesday, and I want to thank Commander Stewart for the personal tour. I'd like to, again, invite everyone to come down to the new LA waterfront. And Mr. Krikorian, during the break, indicated that he visited the LA waterfront. Thank you. Thank you so much for bringing your family down to see our Cabrillo Aquarium. There's so much synergy and so much excitement behind the LA waterfront. And colleagues, as you heard me say around this horseshoe, we need to do more. The port's a call, the 30 acres of prime for retail commercial development. We are the last standing port that's not a destination, that's not an attraction, and we have made some significant strides with the USS Iowa crafted, approving the 50-year lease of Altasea, bringing Marine Research Center and academia down to the port. But this weekend is LA Navy Days, so I'd like to welcome everyone to come visit. The public tours will be this Saturday and Sunday in the Port of Los Angeles next to the USS Iowa. So with that, I want to bring up Commander Stewart, Commanding Officer of USS Anchorage, to say a few words. Commander. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Councilman. Thank you, Councilman. On behalf of...
Wait a second. Give a better hand for the Navy. Come on now. Must be a lot of Army people in this house.
On behalf of Commander Cobian and the men and women, the sailors and Marines of USS Anchorage and USS Spruance, thank you for the warm welcome. We have certainly felt that from the moment we arrived. We are honored to be in this city representing the Third Fleet and your United States Navy. Those ships belong to the people of America, and we are proud to serve them and proud to support this nation and each and every one of the citizens in the city of Los Angeles. Thank you so much.
And help me welcome Commander Cobian, Commanding Officer of the USS Spruance, here to say a few words.
Commander Cobian, USS Spruance, to mirror Commander Stewart's comments, happy to be here, thankful to all the organizations that allowed this to happen, the City Council, the Mayor's Office, Port of Los Angeles, Navy League, all helpful in helping us arrive here safely, securely, and efficiently. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you, sir. It's really cool. The last few nights along the downtown San Pedro and Wilmington business districts, you see men and women in their uniform of the United States service, Navy service, and it's really neat that they're engaging with people along our downtown districts, and they're eating dinner and going to our bars, and it's really neat to see the collaboration, the connectivity.
Just for water when they go in the bar.
That's right. So with that, Grant Ivey, who's really led the charge here to bring LA Navy Week, would like to say a few words as well. Grant? Thank you.
Thank you. We love LA, and thanks to the Port of Los Angeles for welcoming the Navy ships again. The hospitality has been fantastic. Unfortunately, we put the tickets out for the public tours, and they went like really quickly. So we're expecting 3,500 a day. We talked to the USS Iowa, and they've offered a 2-for-1. So you need to go onto their website and type in the code Navy Days LA, and you can get that special deal. Come on down. You can stand on the Iowa and look into the back of Anchorage and see that NASA spacecraft.
Amazing, yeah.
It's great stuff. You can see the other ships from the pier side. And once again, we certainly appreciate the city of Los Angeles and the Port of Los Angeles for welcoming our servicemen from the sea. Thank you, Joe.
Thank you. Thanks, Grant. So, Commanders, if you have any influence with the United States Navy, let's bring a carrier down to the Port of Los Angeles next year.
We'll make that
All right. So with that, to give the official welcome to the Port of Los Angeles and the city of Los Angeles, I'd like to bring up Commander Stewart and welcome you, and also Commander Cobian and welcome you and your men and women of service. Thank you very much. Okay, let's do this really quick. All right. Thank you very much, Mr. President.
Thank you, and thank the United States Navy and San Pedro and Janice Hahn, the former councilwoman, now congresswoman, all the great tradition that you're carrying on with Joe Buscaino. Good job. Mr. Clerk, item number 1.
Item number 1 called Special for Cards.
Mr. Arnold Sachs, followed by Mr. Walsh, followed by Mr. Herman. Mr. Sachs.
Yes, thank you. Good morning, Councilman Arnold Sachs. And I refer to this item because it deals with issues that are pursuant to the Los Angeles Municipal Code and the Los Angeles Administrative Code. And I bring those up. There was a story because I believe the city has a code regarding foreclosed properties still dragged. This is an article from June 10th, 2014. Mentions foreclosed properties still dragging down neighborhoods. And it shows a map of the city. And all these dots on this map represent foreclosed properties that are in disrepair. There's a lot of dots. And then there's a story from 7-2 about municipal code and clucking chickens. It's amazing. And then there's a story from 8/4/14 where they have somebody from the Bureau of Sanitation employee going out and checking on the new Los Angeles code violations for plastic bags. So you have a sanitation worker checking on plastic bags. You got clucking chickens. You got one person working for the DWP checking on leaking water or misuse of water.
Let's focus on this, Mr. Sachs.
I'm talking about municipal codes here, Councilman.
Talk about the nuisance abatement. Mr. City Attorney, please correct.
About the fact that you have nobody talking about foreclosed properties.
He needs to talk about this item, not what about it's not.
I am talking about your article states that this is violations of the Los Angeles Municipal Code and Los Angeles Administrative Code. And I'm just using examples of what you have people doing in the city and what you have people not doing in the city.
You must be specific. Thank you. Have a good weekend. Have a good weekend. Mr. Walsh.
John Walsh, blogging at HollywoodHighlands.org, or go to J. Walsh Confidential, tweeting at Hollywood Dems. Again, what these code violations, and I'll be very specific, concern nuisance abatement, and you are putting a lien on various properties. The problem is that often you get the wrong people and you make major mistakes here. You'll be hearing about one now, and we hope that Mr. Krikorian, when the gentleman and the lady come up, will solve this problem, because at North Cartwright Avenue there shouldn't be a zero lien. Some of these others, there's one here for $6,472. We understand that is a just lien. HollywoodHighlands.org. We believe you should continue to fight nuisances with liens, but do it the right way. HollywoodHighlands.org.
Mr. Herman.
Angelinos, CD2, Mr. Krikorian, 7547 North Salburn Avenue, a.k.a. 7548 North Cartwright Avenue, a measly lien for $598.39. You put this on the people in your council district, Mr. Krikorian. So, my friends,
he should be direct his comments to the council.
Come on. My name is Sylvester McCunley McBean. All right? Come on. I've heard your unhappiness to fix the problems with these illegal liens. They're predatory and attack your constituents. I'm here to fix the problem because, like Mr. John Walsh, HollywoodHighland.org, and I have announced for the last 2 years about Mr. Weezer, Mr. Krikorian, Mr. Price, Mr. Bonin with his head down, is this. These liens are predatory. My prices are free. I don't charge anyone to learn from me that the liens are illegal and they're predatory. This due process upon no notice is unreasonable violation of the due process. Municipal Board Review Assessment, where is it? Municipal Board Review, where is it, Mr. LaBonge? Are we not citizens and taxpayers protected by the liens? Any person here would have a lien on you. Any one of you.
Please address the council,
So,
Mr. Herman.
does the city have sufficient justification to protect the taxpayers, the rights of due process? Yeah, I'm an idiot because I talk about liens. But I'm talking about specifically today to you, Mr. Krikorian, at CD2 7547 North CLYBOURN Avenue. Thank you.
All right, the last card I have, it's spelled URRUTIA. And let me correct that. URRUTIA, no address. If you could pronounce your name for me, I'd appreciate it. Yes, sir.
Hi, I'm here because of the city law went to our house.
If you could just speak right into the microphone.
The city law went into our house and gave us a fine of $686. I have my father in the hospital, cancer. I don't have a job. We can't pay it. We want to get over with it. Mr. Paul, we need your help. Want to get over it today. And we can't do anything about it.
Yeah.
We're CD2 7548
North.
7548 Cartwright and Tom Valley, California. And we want to finish this today. If you could help us.
Thank you for bringing it to our attention. Mr. Krikorian.
Mr. Labange, Mr. Herman continues to disrupt the meeting. If you could just please make a note for the record that Mr. Herman continues to demand personal attention drawn to him and disrupts the meeting. So can we please ask him again not to do that, please?
So we will. Sergeant, please report to me. And then I'm going to tell you, talk to Mr. Herman. Mr. Krikorian.
Yeah, this is the first that this matter has come to our attention. It sounds like the property owners are having difficulty with the ability to pay, so I'm happy to discuss that with them separately. And if we can continue this matter and for 2 weeks to give us enough time to hear what they have to say, hear what the nature of the violations were, and we can try to resolve it. And if not, we'll bring it back in 2 weeks.
Thank you very much, Mr. Krikorian. Thank you. If you want to go over to the side there, and the deputy for Mr. Krikorian will be able to assist.
And Mr. President, for clarification, 2 weeks is August 22nd. Also, we should confirm the address. The amount that the gentleman had cited was in reference to item 1B. However, his card indicated he was here to speak on 1A.
Thank you. Seeing none on the balance of the issues. All right, good. We're going to get a technical, a 1A or 1B. Is that correct, Mr. Clerk?
Yes, sir.
And let's ask our building and safety.
Yes, 1B, CD2, yes.
And it's the correct address?
Yes, exactly.
Good. So you have that, Mr. City Clerk?
Yes, sir. Would you like to continue 1B for 2 weeks to August 22nd without objection, sir?
What? It's 1A?
Yeah, they're here for the property on Cartwright and Clybourne.
So you
That's
get 2 weeks?
Agenda item 1A.
Very good, sir.
2 weeks, please.
Thank you. 2 weeks. Seeing that on the balance, we vote on that, Mr. Clerk?
Yes, sir.
Open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
11 ayes.
11 ayes. And now I'm going to call on Mr. Englander for a fine presentation for the great council member of the 12th. A quick introduction by Mr. Fuentes as he walks up.
Thank you, Mr. Labange. If you would be so kind enough to send item number 5 forthwith, we would appreciate it.
Item 5, super forthwith for the
Thank
fine
you, sir.
man of the 7th. Thank you.
How you guys doing? You have a good time? Thank you, Mr. President. Colleagues, this is cool. This is our E12 Excellence in Leadership Program. So I want to tell you a little bit about the program and the purpose of the program. In 2013, we created this high school leadership development program to train and cultivate the next generation of young leaders in our community. The curriculum of the program focuses on the growing needs to integrate the public sector, business, and nonprofit communities to encourage collaboration, partnerships, and projects within our community. What the students learned was to how to navigate the network of public agencies, facilitate collaboration, and master interpersonal skills to succeed in their academic and professional fields. Students learn to solve real-world problems by integrating academic research, leveraging technology to develop public policy solutions, accessing census and zoning data to develop a community health assessment and target communities of need. Our students who are graduating E12 today are Melody Suhu, Ashley Suhu, and Naomi Suhu. Oh, yes, all triplets, by the way. As well as Piper Harris, and I should read the schools that they're coming from. All of those, my alma mater, El Camino Conquistadors. Julie Chun from Cleveland, Addison Lee from North Hollywood, Ashley Lee from North Hollywood, and by the way, also a Porter Ranch Neighborhood Council board member. Sarah Kim from Granada, Max Rotter from Granada, Eliza Gutierrez from Granada, Jonathan Chung from Granada, Alexa Myers from Granada, Ashley French from Granada, and Chelsea Vanacek from Granada Hills Charter High School. Let's give them a huge round of applause. Our E12 students learn from our staff about the complexity of issues, the human elements of constituent services, and how the city budget works, the difficult choices that we're confronted with each and every day when balancing the budget and how to conduct community service projects, to facilitate partnership projects within the community, and working with community-based organizations. They took various field trips and visited the Wilkinson Senior Center to learn about the different models of service delivery for older adults in our community. They visited with CSUN and the Viscom Center to learn about how animation, graphic design, motion graphics, and web design can be leveraged to promote the public good. They explored the opportunities at various ends of the city and the industries that support our economy within the council district, our CD12 home, the highest concentration of light industrial and manufacturing, as well as yesterday they took a trip to all the way to CD15, to the Port of Los Angeles, and moving goods, and in fact one of the largest ports in the nation, and the complexities that happen down there as well. And I want to thank Joe, your staff in your office as well, for putting all that together, and all the other offices that help step in to help our students and facilitate those special days. Today the students come down to City Hall. They came here on the Metrolink. They'll be visiting the El Pueblo to learn about the birth of our great city, with a behind-the-scenes tour conducted by the General Manager of El Pueblo, Chris Espinoza, and Assistant General Manager Lisa Sarno. By exposing these students to the hardworking men and women serving the residents of our great city, we hope to cultivate the next generation of innovative leaders dedicated to serving the public and solving complex issues of tomorrow. This program would not have been possible without the generous support and the donations of our partners, Los Angeles Police Department, Cultural Affairs, the West Valley Animal Shelter, Recreation and Parks, the Bureau of Sanitation, the Port of Los Angeles, and once again, Joe Buscaino. There's one particular person that I'd like to single out on our staff, who not only does she work tirelessly in this building and in the district, not only is she just an incredible leader in our community, and I'm honored that she is part of our staff, and I have the incredible honor to work alongside her. I learn so much from her each and every day. She's put this program together. She puts all the curriculum together on her days off and in evenings. She's making sure that these students have an incredible experience and they walk away enriched and learning with new relationships. Semi Park, who you all know, who's in this horseshoe each and every day, is truly, truly spectacular and has done a phenomenal job. She's over there, never in the limelight, always on the sidelines, making us all look good. And Semi, thank you so much. And I think our students want to give you a big round of applause as well. She's worked with all of our other staff members, Jesse, who's here, and so many of the other staff members who help make their days so special. They'll be missed because we enjoy seeing their smiling faces come into the office. They look forward to the days. In fact, half the staff took yesterday to go with them to the Port of Los Angeles, and some of them have never been there. And don't worry, Joe, they got their shots before they went down there, so it's bittersweet to see them graduate from E12, and I want to thank all the city partners and particularly these young leaders and give them a big round of applause. So congratulations to the E12 graduating class of 2014.
Thank you, Mr. Englander.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Very good. And now we have a very special presentation for Mr. Huizar with a very good delegation. Mr. Huizar, please. Give Mr. Huizar a hand. That's it.
Like, yeah. Yeah. Okay, is Mr. Price here? Hola, ¿cómo están? Well, thank you very much, Mr. President, and I want to first give a huge thank you for our guests who had the patience, but these are a group of people who are very proud to be from a great country in South America called Ecuador. Que viva Ecuador! We are here celebrating the 205th anniversary of the call for independence in Ecuador. Los Angeles has a long and rich history of people coming from all over the world to call Los Angeles home. We are a world city, and today we are celebrating one of a great number of people who have come to Los Angeles to make Los Angeles home and make this one of the greatest cities in the world. And we're fortunate enough to have a large population of Ecuadorian nationals here in Los Angeles, and it's only fitting that we recognize the struggle for independence that leaders of that proud nation began more than 200 years ago. Today we celebrate El Grito de la Independencia and look back in appreciation for what occurred on August 10th, 1809 in Quito. That day inspired other liberations throughout Latin America. And as you know, the reason we refer to Quito as La Luz de América, the light of America, it is because of that revolution that first sparked the other revolutions happening throughout South America. Because Ecuador was the first to shout freedom, others followed, and history remembers it well. So I want to thank all our Ecuadorian brothers and sisters here today because that bold Ecuadorian spirit still endures in each and every one of them. And it inspires the rest of us to be proud of who we are, to be proud of where we come from, and to continue to make the world a better place. So I want to thank them all for their heart, their courage, their strength, and once again, que viva Ecuador. At this time, I would like to welcome Ingenio Luis Amoroso, Mayor Alcalde de Ambato, and Ingenio Diego Jaramillo, General Counsel of Ecuador, and Concejal Salom Marin. Can we all give them all a big round of applause? Thank you so much. Gracias por visitarnos aquí a Los Ángeles. Gracias por estar con sus paisanos y también con la diversidad que tenemos en la ciudad de Los Ángeles. Aquí celebramos la diversidad que tenemos, celebramos a toda la gente que viene a contribuir y también a decirles a todos que aunque venimos aquí a vivir, no nos olvidamos nuestras raíces, ¿verdad? Mr. Jaramillo is a new counsel for Council General. We want to welcome him, and we also want to thank Elba Barús, Orly Reyes, and the entire Comité Cívico Ecuatoriano in Los Angeles for putting together a series of events this week that showcase the Ecuadorian pride, spirit, and culture. And I'm happy to celebrate this important day in the history of Ecuador and to have the opportunity to be among many proud members of the Ecuadorian community that I've come now to call friends since I've gotten to know them throughout the years in celebrating this very important day. And one of the most exciting parades we have seen is the Ecuadorian Independence Parade when we go down Broadway celebrating the beautiful culture and pride. So congratulations on making 205 years of independence. And now if I can invite Consul Jaramillo to share a few words. Consul, por favor. Gracias, bienvenido.
Authorities of the City Council, representatives of the Ecuadorian Civic Committee and other Ecuadorian social organizations, honorable guests, dear compatriots. Let me begin with an apology for not speaking entirely in English, but I don't want to make any mistakes on this occasion and with such a special audience. I'd like to thank you for this opportunity to celebrate and commemorate this important date, not only for Ecuador, but for our brethren countries in Latin America. Thank you for welcoming us, for your respect, and for thinking of us as an active partner of this community, a community whose true wealth lies in intercultural and plurinational reality, as in our beloved Ecuador. We're grateful for hospitality of this country, of this state, but mainly for the kindness of the city of Los Angeles, which is today the home of our grandparents, parents, our children. We want to offer you our commitment as an Ecuadorian colony that we will guarantee an honest work, our solidarity and respect for all of this nation. We will continue to contribute to the peace, prosperity, and freedom of the people of the United States of America. Thank you very much.
And to our Council General and to the Comité and everyone who made all the events throughout the week possible, we want to present this resolution on behalf of the City of Los Angeles, my colleagues on the City Council, and thank you for your contributions to the great city. I want to remind us all that, as I said in Spanish, no matter where we come from, it is great to have a country like the United States and Los Angeles that makes people feel welcome, that they could continue to celebrate their own culture, be who they are, and never forget our great roots wherever we come from in this great world. Thank you so much. Felicidades.
Mr. Huizar, thank you, and the people of Ecuador, congratulations. Mr. Huizar, everybody look at Sherry, the official photographer, right there, right there.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Labange. And one day we could have a sister city in Ecuador. What do you think?
Anytime. You'll be the chairperson. Good
All right,
job.
thank you.
All the way.
Right. Hay que pasar por acá, por favor.
Thank you. Mr. Clerk, if you could return from your break. Next item.
Mr. President, that brings us to item number 2, called Special for Cards. There is an amending motion 2A. Actually, it's, motion 2A.
We're on item 2 or on 7?
2 is the next item, sir.
2
It
is
comes
the
after
next
1.
item. We have no cards? We have a card
There
on
are
item
cards,
2.
sir.
I got them right now. And has the matter been circulated?
Yes, sir, it has.
Good. We're going to let for the sergeant to be able to handle that. Mr. Sachs? Followed by Mr. Herman, Mr. Walsh, Kevin Franklin, and Oscar Cordona, I believe. We'll get you right in a second. Thank you very much. And Mr. Sachs.
Yes, thank you. Good morning again, Arnold Sachs. And actually, I just want to discuss this part about convenience and necessity. I remember one time there was a hearing on a license, and the attorney got up and said, all you need to show for necessity is that there's nothing in the area that offers the same service. Never mind the fact there could be 50 bars or whatever. There's just nothing in the area that offers that kind of service. And although I read the motion on the bulletin board, it didn't mention anything about any other bars offering consumption of alcohol. So they met the need for necessity because there's no other bars there. And I'm just echoing what an attorney did at another hearing here. So how can you deny it when they meet that portion of convenience or necessity?
Mr. Herman.
Angelenos and Senator Alex Padilla of the 20th District, nice to have you here today. But unfortunately, Mr. Senator, and those of you here, I'm relating to an issue about public convenience or necessity for the sale of alcoholic beverages on an on-site consumption of a sports lounge located at 8910 Southern Western Avenue. While I was up speaking this morning at 8:30 a.m. at the Public Safety Committee on item 8, of course, there wasn't too much to acknowledge there. For I was told that, beverages of alcohol is part of life in Los Angeles. It's a part of life. But the real issue is, how do we cure and correct the real issue about the disease of alcohol beverages for those who can't control the substance? There are some elected officials here who have abused that substance, who have been involved with substance abuse. Not to mention Mr. Weezar,
Mr.
and
President,
maybe
he is
other.
not talking about this specific item.
So the idea of what I'm trying to speak to you about is this. We don't need and we will not determine that public convenience for necessity of the sales of alcohol is needed in Los Angeles. We're sick and tired of becoming the hit-and-run capital of the world. Judge Perkinson's son's death was not an accident. It's an issue of what you've created, the beverage of necessity for alcohol in Los Angeles. And to anyone who has become a victim and in your demise who can't speak today, I'm speaking on behalf of you, that it really, 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 really need more alcohol sales and permits for alcohol. LA is the known one.
Mr. Walsh.
John Walsh, blogging at HollywoodHighlands.org, or go to J. Walsh Confidential, tweeting at Hollywood Dems. This is a rare moment indeed. You see me year after year getting up here and complaining about your granting alcohol licenses. Yes, in capital letters, will not serve public conveniences at 8910 Southwestern Avenue. I'm not sure whether that's Mr. Price's district or Mr. Park's district. I'll congratulate both of you. We don't need a single more alcohol convenient distribution in this city. I moved to this city in 1966. Some of you weren't even born. I lived in Westwood. Later, I came back in 1976, and I've lived here. I've seen the proliferation of bars. I remember this city when you could walk Hollywood Boulevard and you wouldn't see a single drunk. You wouldn't see a single alcoholic diseased. Now, and Western is even worse because some white people go to Hollywood Boulevard, so they have some control of alcohol. As you know, anyone who lives on anywhere near 8910 Southwestern Avenue, you could buy alcohol. It's literally a stone's throw. what's happening here now, the LAPD has put its foot down on on-site consumption at a sports lounge. I don't know what that means. I guess it means it has a television. And this will now go to the state, and we will have one less alcohol distribution point in the city. Hallelujah. HollywoodHighlands.org.
Kevin Franklin.
Good evening. Good afternoon. I'm Kevin Franklin. I'm the representative for Oscar Cordova, 8910 South Western Avenue. I'm a retired ABC investigator from 5 years ago. I'm assisting him now in obtaining his beer and wine license. The thing that we need to point out at this particular location, it's been licensed with a beer and wine license as a bar since 1952. And I have documentation here with regards to that. We've already applied back in September 2013 for the ABC license. The applicant has owned that license for 3 years with a business partner, also listed here on the ABC license. This applicant and his business partner had a separation. So the requirement for ABC license is, since now he'll be owning the license as a sole proprietor, he had to reapply for a beer and wine license for his bar that has been in existence since 1950s with the C of O as a restaurant with bar and beer sales. So again, he is just reopening an established business that was already there. Due to the rules and regulations of alcohol and beverage control, if you close a business for more than 90 days, you're required to reapply and go through all the steps, which means Caldera. As you know, bars and off-site sales require Caldera PC finding. In this particular case, the CUP was approved also. He does not need a CUP because he grandfathered prior to the 1977 CUP enactment laws. Again, the gentleman here is just reopening an existing use.
All right, that concludes your comment. Oscar Cordova, is that correct, Oscar? You speak to the issue? Thank you.
Just want to talk about public convenience. This bar has been open for the last 3 years. I was involved probably for the last year of the location. In that location, we have never had an issue of any problems or any accidents within any reporting of. Even the sergeant of the police department came down to my location and he saw how we never had any issues, and he was willing to recommend the reopening of the bar. Captain Ellison, he's one of the ones that he said he will be approving or requesting for this bar to be reopened. As a public convenience also, like I said, this place would also employ about 14 people, creating income for all the locals in that area. One thing I like to point out too, a lot of the people that live in that area, they all drive far away. It's places like downtown LA, Hollywood, they don't have an immediate local area we could go within 10 minutes. There's no bars open in that area except another one on Manchester and Wester, I believe. That's it. No further comments.
We're going to Mr. Oscar only can speak. Thank you. We don't answer the question. You just make your comment. Mr. City Attorney, correct?
Yes.
So
That's
thank
correct.
you. Thank you.
Do you need to see the
You
document?
can give it to the sergeant. That's good. Thank you so much. That's the procedure. And Oscar, your comments, you've completed your comments? Thank you. We don't ask questions. Thank you. Okay, that completes your time in about 14 seconds. Okay. Thank you. Mr. Clerk, as he's completed his comments, the substitute motion has been circulated, correct?
Motion 2A has been circulated,
And
sir.
we're ready to vote on that?
Yes, sir.
Open the roll on 2A. Close the roll. Tabulate the vote.
11 eyes.
Okay, thank you very much. Next item. Item 7. Mr. Walsh, Mr. Herman, and Mr. Sachs. So,
John Walsh, blogging at HollywoodHighlands.org. J. Walsh Confidential. Point of order, you just circulated a substitute motion on the previous agenda item. The public was not given an opportunity to read it. Under the Brown Act, we
He is
have
not
to
talking
receive
about this item, and the prior matter was posted.
thank you very much, Mr. Walsh. To the matter.
But the public doesn't see it. It was alcohol rules. HollywoodHighlands.org. This is number 7. Striping and signal plan of the B permit design work. $15,000 goes to Kilroy Realty. Kilroy was here. Developer of the Columbia Square project. That's the old CBS building. This $15,000 is outrageously high for striping and signal plan for the design work associated with this project. This has been going on for quite some time, and we feel that HollywoodHighlands.org feels that this is an absolute 100% waste of money. I don't need the 2 minutes. HollywoodHighlands.org, J. Walsh Confidential, and tweeting at Hollywood Dems.
Yeah, okay. Next speaker, Mr. Herman. You have 1 minute, Mr. Herman.
Thank you for reminding me, Mr. LaBonge. And yes, the CBS building, again, for a B permit design work, for what? Kilroy Realty, LP developer of the Columbia Square project, to review the stripping and signal plan for the B permit design work associated with the project. Again, we're talking about a sign. And how many years did we fight and contest and protest the issue on signs? So you still don't get it. You're still abusing the taxpayers when it comes to the proliferation, the abuse of your signage. It's illegal. And Dion, get to work and find a way to save the taxpayers' monies so we don't have to litigate under these false pretense of what a sign and the bullshit of accepting $15,000 from Kilroy to act business for us. Thank you.
Mr. Sachs from Redondo Beach, California.
Yes, thank you again, Arnold Sachs. And who knows? I'm just looking at this salaries overtime account. Salaries overtime again. For a city that's suffering through budget deficit after budget deficit, bloody budget battles over how to spend money, the last thing you want to spend money on is overtime. And the first thing the council wants to spend money on is overtime. How can that be? Everything is a budget deficit. The mayor's worried about this, can't pay the police. Can't pay the police overtime. You can pay overtime here. How can that be? Well, this is not as much overtime as the police get, but it's still overtime. And when you're paying overtime, then you're a lousy manager. Period. Any private business will tell you, cut costs, cut overtime.
Thank you. No other cards. Open the roll. Close the roll. Tabulate the vote.
11 eyes.
So ordered for a very special introduction, the fine councilman of the 15th District, Mr. Buscaino.
Thank you, Mr. President. It's with great pleasure that I introduce to you, colleagues, this year's South Coast Air Quality Management District interns that I'm proud to say this is the program's 15th year. And if I can direct Channel 35, can please stand and smile for the cameras And while we pan out, I'll explain to you. The student internship program encourages students to consider careers in air quality or other environmental fields. Assignments are available in the district's chemistry laboratory, information management, engineering, technology advancement, environmental and policy analysis, finance, human resources, legislative and public affairs, media relations, environmental law, and other functions. These students you see before you work side by side with air quality professionals involved in programs designed to clean the air and improve the quality of life for residents throughout Southern California. We're so proud of you. Thank you for joining the program and wish you the best of luck as you enter high school and college. So thank you so much for your service to the Air Quality Management District.
Thank you very much. And Mr. Buscaino, you could all go up to the Tom Bradley Tower and really check out the air from the heights of City Hall. Have you been there yet? Good job. And anybody going to SC? UCLA? Long Beach State? Mr. Herman, you're so, we're going to send you back to Hollenbeck Juniors High. All right, welcome. Thank you all. Good job. Mr. Sachs, we're calling item 8 now. Please be seated after you're done. Mr. Sachs, Mr. Walsh and Mr. Herman are out of time. Mr. Sachs, you have 1 minute.
Yes, thank you again, Arnold Sachs. And this is track maps. Don't really care about the track maps. Care about the Quimby fees that are collected from these track maps and the use of the Quimby fees that are collected from the track maps. Quimby fees are supposedly fees that are supposed to go for public parks. You know, they're just spent some money over here at this park area of between, Spring and Temple? Spring and, it's corner of Spring and Temple, or Spring and First, and they're going to pay for it, huge sum of money. I think it's $7 million, and a good portion of that, more than 50%, is based on Quimby fees. So all that Quimby fee money that's been collected sat till this park was being developed. You got problems in your district where you need a park? Downtown, no redevelopment money, no redevelopment. No redevelopment money, plenty of...
That completes your comment, Mr. Sachs. Mr. Clerk, open the roll. Close the roll. Tabulate the vote.
11 ayes.
So ordered. Next item.
Mr. President, that takes council to items for general public comment.
All right, on public comment, Robert Lucas here. Robert Lucas, please.
Good morning, everybody. You know, it makes me so happy with some of the things that I heard today, and it's been a long time since I've really been able to say that and mean it, and I'm extremely happy. I need to let you guys know of some good stuff at the Central Division LAPD. Some people, Captain Orb and Lieutenant Munoz and Deputy Dion Joseph, they've enacted some LAPD foot beat down on Skid Row. I can't tell you how happy that makes me. It is truly working. I had asked the public deputy for Huzar to take care of a personal matter with me with Ms. Capone at Pershing Square. She denied a meeting. And I'll let you know, I'll try and approach this from another angle. Had she granted this meeting, I was going to volunteer to take care of a public health and safety issue with some volunteer work at Pershing Square. As you know, there's about a 30-foot waterfall there. It is so pond-scummed filled that it is a mosquito issue. I would have volunteered to take care of that myself and save Pershing Square and the city of Los Angeles some money, just for the opportunity to talk to Ms. Capone. She refused to do that. So I did my public duty, and I called the public safety and health about the mosquito problem. Since I can't do it myself because I wanted to do it for the opportunity to gain some understanding with her, because of the public concern and safety, I utilized the tools of the city of Los Angeles. Everybody have a great weekend. You people make me so happy.
John Walsh.
John Walsh, blogging at HollywoodHighlands.org. We'd like to thank Mr. Parks. He was the city councilman who stopped the liquor license. The pipe that burst and created the flood at your council committee meeting had a D rating, D for death. However, according to this LA Times, it wasn't even on the long, long list to be repaired. You considered it A-OK. I'm telling you right now, this is just the beginning of the collapse of our entire infrastructure. Because all you're interested in is subway to the sea and rail to the airport. All you're interested in is creating a new infrastructure, not repairing. And I'm telling you right now, I warned you before about innocence of Muslims, and I was right about that movie causing a problem. I'm telling you right now, the water, the power in the vaults in this city, we are going to have an extremely hot, explosive vault. You're not repairing the vaults. And incidentally, the subway is in very terrible condition. There will be a major accident on the subway. Everything's out of control. What are you doing now? We still want to know what happened to Kiara Brown, who files for our city councilman, Mr. Parks, who was arrested last April on what? On a violent attack on a store owner. We're telling you right now, we are 100% Glenn Dake, blackmail. The chief of the police in this city is blackmailing the mayor to get his job upped because of Glenn Dake, the mayor's gay lover. Hollywood Highlands.
Henry Marine.
Notice no one says anything when I say that. Is it a lie?
All right, did you get your copy of this? Did you get your copy of this? Somebody, hey, did you get your copy? I passed them out, 15 of them. Did you get a copy? Hey, you want to start my time over? You want to start my time over? No, keep talking. All right, keep talking. That means you ain't paying attention to me, and that's the reason ongoing MOUs show that money has been diverted from public employee pension and benefit plans past 20 years because you don't pay attention. Did you get your copy of this, Mr. Krikorian? Nobody got it. Did you pass these out? You're submitted. All right. So you got a copy. So you see that plumbers are being $15 an hour is being subverted from the pay of public employees and placed in trust of the members of the Joint Labor and Management Benefit Committee, and it's not being accounted for. We know you got a history of management and union personnel not accounting for the money that was placed in trust, revocable or irrevocable trust, and the fact that the city and the Hackett Board, and City Council, retained the right to recover any money placed in trust of unions by providing 90-day written notice to get it back. You've been negligent in your duties, and either the city attorney do it, and we know how much Alex Padilla and everybody else agreed to shelter in their past offices. And it's conflict of interest now for Mr. Fuhrer to go back and get this money because he didn't take care of it in the first place. So I guess it has to go over to district attorneys. Thank you. Brian Barajas. Brian Barajas.
I want to make a correction and a clarification. Now, I think last time I said if you get 40 tons of helium from the moon, you can replace 1 billion barrels of crude oil. It's actually 2 billion of crude oil. Now, let's speak from the future. If it takes 2 space shuttles to bring this material to Earth, that is, each space shuttle takes in 20 tons of this helium-3 on the moon. Now, the interesting fun fact would be which nations would shuttle those space shuttles. In my opinion, one should be the American and the other should be the Chinese. Now, does anybody here know of a space shuttle that we can bring out of retirement? My point is this, that when we speak of the future, everybody says, well, we're doing the best we can to build the future, but when I say helium-3, that's a different type of future. That's not just any type of future. And we have a problem. We have a president, and we're going to war. The Prime Minister of London, David Cameron, has pushed NATO in full force against Russia. And we don't have a president of the United States that gives a shit about this country or civilization. I want representation. I want some of you members to call the Congress back, at least Becerra or anybody else, and get them back out of recess and get them back to Washington. They need to impeach this guy very, very, very soon. The other measure, as I've stated, the Glass-Steagall, National Bank, Federal Credit, and the fusion. We need a future, and it's called fusion and beyond that.
Mr. Herman.
Angelinos, are you not disturbed by Mr. Krikorian's rude remarks about myself, public interest, a civil rights activist, when he sends Sergeant of Arms Mr. Duarte there to tell me that he's going to kick my ass out the door and leave? That's wrong. I'm not intimidated by your wrongs. I can't. I have enough bullshit in life to deal with than the same bullshit I get here. But I speak on behalf of the public that I love, Mr. LaBonge. I love helping people. The way I helped the people this morning on item 1, old business, item 1A, from Mr. Krikorian's district, illegal liens. Also, what about Mr. Parks or Mr. Price, whose staff are in trouble for their felonies? Are they good examples to me and anyone else in the city? Absolutely not. So, going back to you, Mr. Ralph Terraza, new chief, congratulations and thank you. And that also, speaking on behalf of Mr. Senator Alex Padilla, thank you to coming to LA to visit me, because now I don't have to travel to visit you in Sacramento. But my trip there will be rewarding because I'm on vacation, brother. And I'll walk, I'll fly, I'll crawl, I'll trip. I am still Sylvester McMonkey McBean. Dr. Seuss, are you not happy or unhappy with me? Friddle me do, friddle me duh. Look at the city attorney who's losing his hair over me. My name is Sylvester McMunkery McBean. I've heard all the troubles of City Hall and all the things. I've heard of your non-fixed agenda at UCLA for broken pipes and infrastructure. How foolish can you be? Fix the problem.
Arnold Sachs, please. Arnold Sachs.
Yes, thank you again, Arnold Sachs. And because we're limited on our comments, one of the things I neglected to mention when I was talking about the codes and the different inspections you have, there was also a story about how the city is bringing back local attorneys, the city attorney's office. But the interviewer talked to somebody, and she mentioned her conversation with the lead officer in an area, lead police officer, regarding a blighted building, not a house. So if you have a problem in your neighborhood and you've called about city agencies, call the police department, find out who the lead police officer is, and get him to come out and investigate. And maybe you'll get some results there, because you're certainly paying for it. You're paying for it either way, by not getting the service. If you're not getting the service, pay for it by calling and demanding the service. Now, last week in the Valley City Hall, somebody mentioned how it's easy to come up here and criticize. Nah, you make it easy. What's really difficult is to understand how people can come up and pat you on the back and stuff their heads deeper into the ground on all the minutia that you consider just run-of-the-mill. I'm not making this stuff up. Clucking chickens. A person for the Department of, I can't even remember, going out, plastic bag bans. It's a quality of life issue here. And when you ignore that, you do a great disservice. Bad overtime, bad management, bad elected officials.
All right, Mr. Sachs, that completes public comment. No other cards. Mr. Clerk, what's before us?
Mr. President, Council has motions for posting and referral.
Thank you so much. Mr. Vakatalian, we thank you for your many, many years of service there. You sit in the front pew. Members, any announcements? Mr. Buscaino, Navy Days?
Navy Days this weekend, absolutely, but coming in 2 weeks at the Port of Los Angeles is the Tall Ships Festival. Along with several amazing tall ships, the Port of LA will be home of the world's largest rubber duck. Amazing 90-foot rubber duck is a creative effort of internationally renowned artist Florentine Hoffman from the Netherlands, and has already visited Australia, Taiwan, China, Belgium, Japan, New Zealand, Brazil, and Pittsburgh. And in order to promote the festival, just this morning, Mr. President Herb Wesson and Mr. Blumenfield joined me and welcomed the 9-foot baby duck that will be making appearances throughout Los Angeles. It's going to the zoo today. We were able to welcome the baby duck to City Hall. Duck will be here from 10 to noon. Make sure you go out Spring Street to take a photo, but be sure to hashtag it RubberDuckLA wherever you take a photo with this thing. You can also follow the LA Waterfront on Facebook at LA Waterfront, Twitter, Instagram for clues about where the baby duck will be appearing next. Mr. O'Farrell would like to see it at Echo Park Lake. We're working on that. The Tall Ships Festival will kick off
Make it happen, Joe. Make it happen.
Wednesday, August 20th at 2 p.m. in a couple weeks with the Parade of Sail, as 13 tall ships will be led by the world's largest rubber duck, will parade down the port's main channel and into their festival birthing locations. Expected crowd of 30,000 plus will be visiting us down at the harbor. So save the date, colleagues, and put it on your calendar and let the world know that the Tall Ships Festival is coming on August 20th, the Port of Los Angeles.
Very much, Mr. Buscaino, and special outreach to all our council community groups. Please make that happen so that deputies could make sure their community groups know that. Any other announcements, members? Adjourning motions? All rise for adjourning motions, please. Mr. Koretz.
Yes, we didn't adjourn in this memory because we were on break, but I wanted to adjourn in the memory of the 298 people who died in the downing of the Malaysia Airlines plane Flight 17 over eastern Ukraine. One thing which I think many people missed was that about 100 of the passengers were en route to the biannual International AIDS Conference in Melbourne, Australia. And this conference ranked among the largest and most important in the field. And many of the passengers were leading researchers, scientists, activists, and policymakers. Among the most prominent were Joseph Lang, a former president of the International AIDS Society, and his partner Jacqueline Van Tongeren, a nurse and the Society's head of communications. This vast community of heroes committed to ending this epidemic, certainly we were robbed of many scientific and medical breakthroughs as a result of their passing, one impossible to calculate. So we remember them, our scientific loss in the effort to eradicate AIDS, and of course the families, friends, colleagues, and loved ones of all 298 victims. The City of Los Angeles joins in mourning their passing.
Thank you very much, Mr. Koretz, for reminding us all that every day is a blessing. Continue to serve the city well, and this meeting is now adjourned. Thank you.